Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to WOR. We are round 4 of season 16. We are at Las Vegas for the first time this season, and forever, I suppose, is the best way to do it. So Joseph and I, both of us, and neither have commentated on this track before. So this is going to be an interesting one for the both of us, but of some way of commentary stature of Joseph, I think he'll be able to carry me through this one. It's going to be a great race, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a massive unknown for both of us, as we say, to WOR in general, the first time it's been here on the console side of things. PC's had its turn both last season and this on the F1 23 game cycle, but after the race we had in real life as well, after the chaos that was served up in Monaco, I think everything is pointing towards some more drama.
Yeah, so 16 corners they're going to have to navigate around tonight for this 6.2 kilometre circuit. We will, however, just quickly go through a little bit of, I suppose, homework, you could say. Last week's Monaco Grand Prix, yourself and James had the pleasure of watching, but we'll go through the finishing order in the end. And it was Furious that took victory for, I believe, his first ever Tier 1 race victory in WOR. So a great result for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Furious, fantastic is the one word I'm going to use to describe him. Didn't come without challenge. I think he led a second safety car restart, of course. A couple of pit stops in there as well. He had to stay on his toes, but ultimately the last stint, as we so often see in Monaco, drivers just able to stretch their legs. And then, obviously, just taking it easy over the line because he had absolutely all the time in the world to play with.
And just behind then, OP Louis Valentine and OP Benza rounding out the podium finishes. But we'll have a look at the championship and how close is this? 11 points from Furious to Kai Pearson, who I think he is here tonight. But that's pretty close now after that Monegasque Grand Prix.
Absolutely. Kai pointless, you could say, after last week's round. That leaves, 9 drivers within a shot of taking the championship lead tonight, as far down as Benza, excluding Mubarak and Nick. So make that actually 7 drivers that could match the points tally of Kai Pearson tonight, if he again does have another pointless round in the Las Vegas roulette. Sammy Shempsey, Liam Bowman closing up. Liam Bowman could have led the championship quite possibly if he did have a 5-second time penalty, I think it was, appealed, but the guy forgot to send evidence, so unfortunately that was waved away by the stewards, and he's got some additional work to do tonight.
Yeah, so not much. Well, I say not much. A lot of talking points from Monaco, but we're not about that tonight. We are going to have a look at the qualifying that is underway, and we're going to go on board with the Williams driver of Maryland. I'm going to go with and hope for the best on that as he comes down through the... Well, you'll have to forgive me with corner names and numbers through this one, but he is just about to cross the start-finish line to finish his first lap time, I believe, and as he just uses that kink of turn 17, but only managing a 1:31.6 for the time being for the Williams driver. But the only driver hasn't gone out is his teammate, is Kazizel, for lap times so far. Let's go on board with the Ferrari of Stefano as he's coming through as well.
He is indeed. Just Marlon for the name, by the way. It's, okay. The 05 is a little bit confusing, but just Marlon will suffice for that. Stefano does back out and come into the pit lane, actually. I'm not quite sure what went wrong on his lap, but it's worth noting OP Benza out in front. An astonishing 1:30.8 for his banker lap. He was pole here in PSGL's Premier PlayStation tier with a 1:30.713. He's had a couple of weeks since then, but he's already a 10th off what was the lap time over in that league, and that's pretty much the only data I've got really when it comes to going for Las Vegas. Of course, PC is a little bit of a different ball game, but so many of these PlayStation drivers have sort of recycled their knowledge and of course have kept it fresh from their recent outings.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously PSGL hosting the Las Vegas, and it's not really been done in an Xbox or a WOR side of things. So it's a little bit of a, I don't want to say new ground for them, because they'll obviously have done practice, as we've just seen Guli hitting, or I say hitting the wall at turn 12. It was very close to hitting the wall. But yeah, it's a little bit of a new ground for them because it's a little bit of strange data, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the drivers based on, those that I talk to say it feels very F1 22, sort of low grip, high gears, really strange feeling with the car using very low downforce in, some corners that actually do require quite a lot of downforce, such as the first sector, the long left of 1 and 2, and then into the right of 3. You really need a car to be able to grip up there, but often you find yourselves drifting and, having to do a lot of car correction. So it is an unknown. It is sort of an outlier from the rest of the tracks on this game. Not to mention the extremely long Las Vegas Strip, where all of the action will surely occur tonight. But yeah, I mean, you get mixed feedback. Drivers like the challenge, but some would just rather see the back of this, which might explain why we've got so many reserve drivers tonight.
Yeah, we've got a few, haven't we? And it's not ideal, but I mean, it helps with certain drivers in the championship. It adds a little bit of spice, and something we definitely like to see is a bit of spice. But here comes Stefano, just getting himself ready, hitting turn 13 before opening that DRS for the last main straight. I suppose second to last main straight. He's obviously setting himself up for a lap. He isn't on a lap just yet, but it'll be interesting to see the detection point just at turn 13. Are we going to see squabbles, do you think, from drivers trying to, Saudi Arabia it from 2021?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the DRS there is so desirable. I mean, you can easily pull a second if you have DRS and ERS in combination to use. So nobody wants to be leading on the final lap because you might not even finish on the podium if the train is so close. It is such a, again, like I said, such a unique circuit in that aspect. We see the DRS games, the slipstream and whatnot at other circuits, but Las Vegas, I mean, leaves a lot to be desired when leading the race. Stefano starts a lap here, and it's worth just talking through the traffic that he's about to experience on the run down towards turn 5. This is the first DRS zone, but rather insignificant when you compare it to the Las Vegas Strip. Little bit of understeer again, low downforce being used. Slight graze of the front wing there on the outside of 5. Then he makes his way into 6. That's one of the Williams cars, I think they're going straight on, really mounting the curb as he goes past the Las Vegas Sphere on the inside of the circuit, beaming up on the left-hand side there. Then it's another short dash underneath the footbridges overhead that, controversially transported fans in a behind closed doors FP2 session, and the AlphaTauri there doing well to not get in the way there on the inside. Here comes the Las Vegas Strip. It's 1.9 kilometers long from the exit of 12 to the entrance of 14. The total length of the strip is 6.8 kilometers long. We're only racing on a snapshot of it, but still, look how long, look how fast it is as all the cars get out of the way there on the inside. You have to say, very well done from the lap traffic into the tricky chicane, really mounting that inside curb at 15, through the left of 16, again accelerating all the way through. We've seen a lot of spins there in the past. Stefano then up to the line will take the short route on the inside curb, and he only goes 15th. So maybe the traffic putting him off. It was a difficult one for him to go out at that point.
Definitely not ideal, and yeah, there was a fair few cars in his way, wasn't there? So he might not be. I mean, it was a tricky time to go out and set a lap time when everyone else is coming out at this point. But let's go on board with Furious as he's into turn 12, trying to take us quite smoothly, smoother than Stefano's lap time, then down through into turn 13 and the Las Vegas Strip. And there you can see, I hadn't noticed that before. There is the drivers on the billboards in the background constantly changing. So that's a nice little touch. But we're not there about, we're not here about that. We're here about Furious's lap time as a Red Bull dives out of his way as he heads into the final little chicane there. It's looking relatively smooth through that. And I wonder if the Red Bull driver behind him is going to try and grab some slipstream, but he's not, because he's going into the pit lane. His old Furious there, he wasn't too happy with his lap time.
Yeah, Mubarak, that was there behind him. Another late entrance tonight. Stefano grid penalty, and that was on his in lap. He's trying to make way at turn 12, but has picked up a 5-second penalty. World Online restart might return this evening, as Louis Valentine has gone quick, is bettering the PSGL pole time. He was there, he started last, and now he's really showing what he's capable of with a 1 minute 30.7 on the dot.
See what Enzo can do. He's another driver that showing a little bit more, and I say that as Benza goes that little bit quicker. Murphy goes into third place. The Alfa Romeo driver doing very good. Kai Pearson only managing third place provisionally. Very, very close to Louis Valentine though, as diving into the pits is Enzo there. He wasn't too happy with that one. Mubarak, is he going to set a lap time? We've seen a few drivers dive in. He's up on his lap time, so he may bail on this one as well. So we could see a lot of drivers waste a little bit, well, do another run on the softs through this, especially as we've seen. We're likely to get a restart for this now, so they're going to have a nice little tyre change for free, effectively.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't anticipating too much soft usage in the race. It is an option, of course, as with any circuit, but, you know, it will just, for those that might have selected something else on the, such as the softer option, in fact, for the tyres, when you load into the lobby, they do have an extra go at this. Maybe gambling on that restart, but there'll be people telling them, no, don't gamble on it, it might not happen, but it has, so I think that debate can possibly be put to bed for the time being. We've got cars on laps, they're all spread out quite nicely on the circuit at the moment, trying to see who's coming up, but most are either on in laps or running slightly out of sync. Yeah, Benza back to the top, of course, 30.631, that's over a tenth quicker now than what he managed. Kai Pearson up to third. He did do PC F1 actually, he got disqualified in Q3, actually due to an accumulation of illegal blocking penalties. He then crashed on the 25th and final lap. He was outside of the points anyway, but of course he builds up his PC experience, ready to potentially in the near future go on and contend for that title as well.
Let's see what Axe can do, and obviously contending for titles. Axe hasn't been there, unfortunately, but he has shown glimpses of incredible pace. Let's see what he can do in this Las Vegas Strip circuit, as it looks like he's slowed down a little bit. Seems like we've every time we go on board with someone, they're either diving into the pits or they're abandoning their lap times, Joseph. So it's not an ideal one, but I'm guessing they're all just setting themselves up for one final lap time at the end of this session. Really, I wonder if the Ferrari driver of GL Guli is on a lap. He is up on his lap time, so he could break into the 130s. As I go on board with him, he absolutely misses a chicane in sector 2, and I don't know if it's just commentator's curse or not from me tonight, but it's definitely not going well for some of these drivers.
Yeah, popped his ERS on. He had no battery anyway, so we wouldn't have been pushing down the back straight. It's going to be a race to get back into the pit lane, actually. I hope he hasn't used up all of his sets, because he will be in a bit of a precarious position, maybe sliding down the order in the final 3 minutes and 15 seconds of qualifying. While he's fighting his way into the pit lane, we've got cars emerging from the other end, including OP Benza, our provisional pole sitter, is out there first. Looking to extend that margin, of course, put pressure on those around him, hopefully by flashing up yet another purple lap time. How do you
it's a little bit of an unknown for us, and this is going to sound very like a very harsh question to ask you, but what lap time do you think is going to be poles? Is it going to be the 130.5s? Do you think that's capable of these guys tonight?
I think it'll be a high 0.5 if possible, but like I said, I was going off of what the guys were doing in PSGL, and it would have been identical track conditions, with it being the official setting, the short qualifying. So I'm already quite surprised that Benza's got into the position that he has so far. But you know, clearly rapid about here. I can see a high 0.5 happening.
Well, we will wait and see. Everyone pretty much streaming out of the pit lane now. We've got, I think there's 4 drivers in the pits, and they're on the 2 of them I think are on the way out as well. So Furious and Macho won't be setting another lap time because they are out of this. Well, they've retired from this session. But Benza is just about to go down the Las Vegas Strip, and well, let's see what he can do, because I think at the moment he's the man to beat. But there is no one else coming out on track, so these are the 16 drivers to set lap times at the end.
They are indeed furious. Our most recent pole sitter actually retiring there as well. Macho there, PSGL F2 driver, down in 20th in his full-time role in that championship. Scored a point last week in Monaco, and I think has merited a return here to another street circuit. But again, that qualifying less than ideal. Well, here goes Benza, who is in a very ideal position at the moment as he begins his final run on this sensational Las Vegas Strip circuit. Controversy surrounding its return to the Formula 1 calendar. We used to race here on the Caesars Palace circuit back in the early 80s, but with how fast this is, I think a lot of people did end up enjoying this one in the end. And hopefully Benza now can bring you a pole lap here as he goes right into turn 5, 90 degrees, and Kai Pearson there picking up an illegal blocking penalty. They're really mounting up now, coming into that chicane in the bottom right on the track map. There's another one there, Liam Bowman as well, almost confirming the restart. It's a long sector 1 here for Benza. It's almost difficult to know where you actually gain or lose time, because 43 seconds in, you only just cross the first sector split line, and he's found over a tenth of a second. So he's making me eat my words here about what I might have said about a high 0.5. This is astonishing from Benza. Here he goes onto the strip.
This is going to be a moment of truth. Has Benza just blown away your prediction? Can he get into the 30.4s? I mean, that would put us all to shame. I think right now he is still up 1.5 tenths of a second on his lap time. He is absolutely flying in that Mercedes right now. Down past through turn 16. It's still looking smooth. It's still looking very, very solid for OP Benza. Across the line, he's going to be coming across with a 1:30.45. Wow.
I am absolutely stunned. Louis Valentin is down. Kai Pearson still in the first sector. I think he might have backed out because he's not using too much ERS at the moment. Joe Murphy aborts. Louis Valentin also aborting now into the pit lane. Vola Kongan only 5th. Sami Shemsi crosses the middle sector split line. He's over a 10th down as well. Mubarak finding time. 800ths up at the moment. Enzo, I think, is the next driver. He's in 9th, who's actually setting some sort of improving time at the moment. Rounding the final corner over the crest, and he's gone 6th onto the 3rd row. Big effort there. Sami Shemsi, can he respond? The Canadian driver took a big penalty last week. He's up to 5th and displaces his teammate. Liam Bowman up to 9th. Another difficult pads, not so friendly circuit for him, you could say. Marlon on his season 16 debut into 11th. Mubarak will be the next car, I think, following Stefano if he's improving. He does go 14th, but did use his deployment. Mubarak crosses the line into the top 10. That leaves Axe as on one of his 3 home circuits, but he's straight into the wall. He wasn't improving. He was invalid.
Also, Kai Pearson had no front wing. That is why he pulled out of his lap time, and that in itself, I guess, it's not I guess at all, it is crucial indeed. Starting 3rd, I mean, we saw positional overtaking in real F1, but it's interesting nonetheless. We will be getting a lobby restart because of these penalties. Kai Pearson will not want to be dropping down the order 5 places, but Benza, Louis Valentin, Kai Pearson, Murphy, Sami Shemsi, Volokongan, Enzo, Aurelian, Liam Bowman and Mubarak are your top 10. And then you've got Quantum, Marlon, Guli, Stefano, Gabor, Furious, Axe, Rick, Macho and Kazizel, who didn't actually set a lap time. He wasn't able to get one in as your next 10 there. Wow. OP Benza setting down a massive come get me to the rest of the grid there.
Absolutely, and a few people rightly saying in the live chat as well, the WOR Legacy Division finale, Tuesday, Las Vegas. Outplayed Racing going for the title. There you go. That, of course, paying out the money rather than here as in a prize pool in Tier 1. So I'm sure full focus for the team going to be on that, but watch out for that lightning pace going into Tuesday. I'm sure James and Jota will be wanting to speak about that a lot more, so I'll leave them to do it. But either way, sensational from Benza. Out almost 3/10 on the lap that I thought he would be hovering around based on what I put on my pretend bit of paper tonight. But sensational.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job there. Obviously, guys, please bear with us until we get the lobby back up and running. It's going to be an interesting one, to say the least, this Grand Prix. I mean, obviously OP going for the title in the Legacy. They've got 2 drivers at the top here. Let's give OP some credit here. They've done an incredible job. We've had in the past, though, they've had some negativity about them. I think we've seen, but it doesn't seem to be that way at the moment, does it? They seem to have got things in the right order.
I mean, I do like OP a lot. Great group of guys. As all the carnage is unfolding, so it seems like I'm a little bit distracted. But yeah, this is just the restart procedure. Always gets me. But yeah, I've never had a bad word to say about them, really. You know, the stuff that I've done commentating over them, but they are rapid. They are so backed. They are so unitary. They are, you know, even they've got drivers such as Mabak, a little bit of a late coming tonight, able to just step in when the team needs them and do a good job. I know it's about individualism tonight, but still relevant point in my opinion.
Definitely, and obviously we saw first round of the season. The Red Bulls, again, it was very Red Bully from last season with Kai Pearson and obviously Nick, he's not here tonight. Do you think Kai is going to struggle with not having that rear gunner, I suppose you could call him? Because at that point, you know, halfway through the race, you could see that the Kai was the driver to beat at Bahrain. But could we see that struggle against him tonight, I guess is the best way to describe it.
I think it could work in his favour equally as well. I mean, how many times have we seen drivers try and double up in the pit stops, maybe a driver go a lap later when they're so close in pace and sort of nose to tail? I mean, unless Mubarak makes a lightning quick start and is there with Kai, he's got very much free roam in his strategy. So, you know, it could go both ways for him.
Definitely. We'll have to wait and see. There's quite a few reserves tonight. I suppose they're looking to make a name for themselves. You know, tier 1, great place to make a name for yourself. You could obviously have some bad negativity, bad light against you, I suppose you could say. But more often than not, when we see a tier 2 or a tier 3 driver in the past, they've done something good tonight. Are we expecting the same again?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few drivers only making their first or second appearance. So again, it's just about being in that list of names that's ready to step up and take the tier 1 challenge. And I think GL Gilles, second appearance tonight, it was a good result for him last season in Brazil. That was a P6 finish. I think there's debuts for Kazizel. Others have joined last second. So, like I said, it is a growing list of names. You know, we start the season with only 5 or so reserves, but very quickly it expands. Everyone's got an opportunity, a fair opportunity. And with the 95 Tier 1 winners we've had now in WOR across its 16 seasons, why not make it 96?
And what a track to do it at as well. Las Vegas, you could say you were the first Tier 1 race winner at Las Vegas. I mean, that is a bit of prestige to come and hang around your head at WOR. I'm sure they would much prefer to win the title, but I think this would be a close second, wouldn't it? You know, the first time you could say you could be like, I won that race. I'm sure that's nice in itself. Aurelian, Aston Martin, he's had some. Obviously, he's up. His teammate Louis Valentin, great driver. He's up there in the championship. Aurelian's been up there a few times. He's been involved in some great battles. What do you reckon we can expect from him tonight with a bit more of a reserved grid?
Yeah, I mean, he got pole round 2, didn't he? Unfortunately, crashed out at the end of that session there, just as he did in PSGL, incidentally. But again, the mid-pack, it's hard to judge where a driver's race is going to go. You could fall flat on your face in the first lap in there, or you know, come out of it an absolute hero. So it's hard, as it always is in WOR, to give a reasoned judgment about anything. that could happen. But Aurelian, clearly showing in the early part of the season, he's there or thereabouts. I mean, anyone, as I said, 7 drivers could end up leading the championship tonight. He could be, amongst that fight going into round 5 and beyond.
Definitely. Sami Shemsi then, another driver that we can speak all day about, I'm sure. But will he? He obviously wants to have more. He wants to be leading the championship. He's up against Kai Pearson, who is where we saw from last season, and the majority of this season he's a top racer, top guy. He's quick, but Sammy's just as quick in most places. Sami Shemsi can win this title, can't he?
He can, but it was, I think, the move in Monaco that sort of let him down. Well, not for him, but the Yossi move on Sammy, I should say, the other way around, it just sort of got away from him last week. I mean, it's got away from him a few times last season. I think Saudi Arabia, just races like that where he's had the opportunity to win, hasn't quite done so. So he's still awaiting that first Tier 1 win. Again, could come tonight, it might not, but still being so close and being able to capitalise on that pointless score for Kai last week. It's important to him. He wants to win the title. He wants to get his hands on the rig just as much as Kai, and Kai's got challenged now. I don't think he quite expected that after Monaco and whatnot, but yeah, it's going to be a tight-knit race until the end of the season.
Well, we are prepared for this race tonight. We've got the the standings from after Monaco on the screen right now, and it's Kai Pearson leading the way from Sami Shemsi by 2 points, and someone that we've not mentioned is the Scotsman Liam Bowman, who could very well have been leading the championship had it not been for that penalty that you quite rightly mentioned earlier on. It's another driver that's going to be pushing hard, 5 points behind Kai Pearson, and is nothing. And all it takes is just beating Kai on track today, and he's that little bit closer.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, I have to do credit Liam Bowman because he was the only pad driver last week. And I know you weren't there, but the only pad driver around Monaco, he qualified 5th, which was, I think, a surprise to me, a surprise to James, a surprise to absolutely everybody. And he did get a whole load of acclaim for that. So, and to be consistent for such a long period in that race as well, I think it really made everybody recognise that he is there in that championship. Although, as I did say earlier, he did do the very silly thing of trying to appeal a penalty but not show it being awarded. So he'll learn from that. It's a few points costed, but still a whole great race, you have to say, for the Scottish driver.
Yep, I mean, he's had a good season so far. He was quick last season when he raced, and he just wasn't. He was more reserve, I think, wasn't he, last season? This season, he's in it. He's got a little bit of, like, you could say, a bit between his teeth. He wants to prove that he's capable of deserving to be at the top. He's a very, very quick driver. Obviously, furious with that race win last time out, adding a lovely 25 points, throwing himself up into the championship battle with that win. And that's all it takes. One good race and you're up there.
Yeah, one good race and you are up there. 3 different winners in 3 races. That's not still entirely recognisable in the championship. I mean, we've had Kai, Bowman and Furious, and, Sami Shemsi sitting second. He's without a race win. So I think long term it's about consistency. It's great early season to be getting wins, for so many drivers competitively to be getting them. But, over time, some drivers will really be hoping now that, okay, I've gone pointless. I need to start building this up over a few races now because it's just not sustainable, actually, for a championship charge.
Definitely not. I don't want to say we've seen in the past drivers manage to get nearly a full season without a race victory and be a champion at the end of it. There's been close calls, some great drives in the past here in WOR, but it's the first time around the Las Vegas Strip circuit. We are very, very close to getting underway. We are back in the lobby, and, well, I say in the lobby, we're on the race screen, I guess. We're waiting for the lights to come to us. But this 6.2 kilometre circuit, we've got 25 laps. We haven't really spoken about overtaking opportunities, because we know where they are. If you've seen the track, you know where the overtaking opportunities are here. But I mean, strategy wise, are we just going to see kind of a split, a straight middle, hard mediums, and then only see a set of softs if there's a safety car towards the end, or is it? I mean, what do we know?
Well, it's a clear race, so I have to say that's good. That's good. We don't have any rain as a spanner in the works, but based on my sample of around 37 drivers, the majority went for hards, the majority pit for mediums, and the majority of those that left it late were quick at the end. So, you know, it's about leaving it quite late. Softs not very preferable around here, do tend to die out very quickly around lap 6, 7, and if you are not being able to get away from a train or unable to make overtakes, that's not going to be a great strategy on the whole. But here we go.
We will go onto the track then. It's 5 lights here, and away we go at WOR, and it looks like Benza has had a very average start in comparison to Louis Valentine, who's up the inside trying to take the lead of this Grand Prix, and he has done. And Benza, I think maybe, just maybe, caught napping a little bit, and he is down into second place. But great start from Louis Valentine, and Kai Pearson hasn't been able to make a move yet. I think there's a good positional change there from Enzo getting past Volokongan, who's struggled. So both Mercedes have struggled off the line.
My stats report might not be accurate, but there's just been some contact. I think one of Liam Bowman or Quantum's just ran wide into the turn 5 wall. I've got Volokongan leading on the timing screen, but he is still sitting, I think, 5th or 6th. I can't quite see him further down the order. He's behind a McLaren, so I think he's 7th. Oh, it's fixed itself. How brilliant. Louis Valentine leading the way. Soft tyres for the top 3. I was mentioning the softs. They need to work in unison to try and extend the gap, because as I said, they will start to die off, and you will start to become a little bit of a sitting duck, battling Gabor, Kazizel, softs versus mediums. 7 drivers overall on softs, and for the first time down the Las Vegas Strip, Benza is slipstreaming and looking to take the opportunity to retake the lead.
Mubarak getting past Aurelian on those softs as well. Mubarak wasn't taking any taking any prisoners. He wasn't taking any chances. He wants a soft, which is an interesting one. You know, we mentioned that maybe softs weren't going to be used, but these guys deciding not to listen to our advice. But there's an issue there in a VSC.
Well, that was quite a big one for Macho. His race has only lasted 0.8 of a lap, I'd say, as he spins, I think, on his own coming out of turn 16. Soft tyres already just giving him less grip there than he might have desired by the looks of it. I don't know if there was any contact. I literally flicked onto him as I saw a Haas spinning around the circuit. It doesn't look like we've got a full safety car because I can't see it. It's still parked up there in the pit lane as Marlon and Gilles have both made pit stops.
Gilles had a front wing change, so there could have been a little bit of contact with the Ferrari and the Haas, and that wouldn't have been ideal. But we're back racing underway here at Las Vegas, and Louis Valentine leads the way. There is that wonderful second mark between 3rd and 4th place, which is probably going to be an absolute godsend to the ears to the top 3, because they'll want to break away. But Murphy is trying to get himself back into that. It's just teetering on the edge at the moment, and Mubarak then getting past Shemzi as well. Sami Shemzi, obviously on those harder compound tyres, struggling a little bit. He's going to want to stick to the back end of that Red Bull as best he can, though.
He will do indeed. Mubarak, of course, on the soft tyres, making the sort of Verstappen move that he wanted to do on Russell, but Shemzi this time did see him in his mirrors, did see the proximity arrow, and allowed the Swiss driver to go through. The Canadian sitting 6th, Aurelian in 7th, and might be the next driver to try and pick off Sammy. But 1.2 seconds, the gap between Kai and Joe Murphy, as the top 3 begin to stretch their legs. But the question is, how far can they go? How big of a gap can they build? And ultimately, I think that will determine the entire course of this race.
Yeah, Joe Murphy looked like he's going wide at the turn 1-2 little complex there, which I don't think has helped his lap time, but it might have been. It looks like there are a few different angles for drivers, just a few different ways to take a few of these corners here. So it will be interesting to see if it will continue. But Mubarak is all over the back of that Alfa Romeo, which could inadvertently help Murphy and not help the top three.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Murphy, I think he's doing a good job here. I think Mubarak will have him very comfortably coming down the strip, of course, with the 2/10 gap that he's got. But hard tyres, he's going to stick with Mubarak, you'd think, because 3 laps into this soft stint already, I can maybe see the tyres maybe already getting towards about 20% already. Here comes Mubarak, right-hand side of Joe Murphy. Very simple move. As soon as that DRS flap opened, bit of ERS usage from Sammy Shemsi as well. This will be a big move because Joe Murphy is vulnerable. Benz has gone for the lead. It seemed a very simple move, but I think that Sammy Shemsi one is a lot more significant, becoming the lead hard runner on the opposite strategy.
Yeah, I think that's perfect for Sammy Shemsi. I think he was waiting for that. I think he wanted. It sounds silly to say, but I think he wanted the soft runner of Mubarak to get past, so he could use the extra pace and everything by following the Red Bull driver. Just shows he's the fastest man on the track with a set of hard compound tyres, and he's stuck to the back end of Mubarak. But it's now a 1.6 second gap between Kai Pearson and Mubarak, and that could be telling in itself. But Sammy is in a absolutely incredible position right now.
He is indeed, and with that helping of DRS into turn 5, Mubarak is still under all sorts of pressure and might not find it easy to escape the clutches of McLaren here as he goes into the wall. I think he locked up that outside front tyre, and OP Mubarak has maybe sustained some wing damage. It is reduced standard in terms of the damage rate, so I'm not sure how sensitive that would have been for him, but Sammy Shemsi can certainly see an opportunity now. There is also a myth on the game: if you damage your front wing, you actually get higher top speed coming down the straight, but I'm not sure. I think that's been debunked somehow. It might just be a different rate of acceleration and whatnot, but either way, Sammy Shemsi accelerating up to around 210 miles per hour. Mubarak sitting duck, of course, without the DRS. And out of ERS as Aurelian flying through up the inside of Mubarak. Is he going to commit on Sammy Shemsi? No, he isn't, but Aurelian on the mediums now throws a third different strategy into the mix here.
This is insane stuff. Some great driving, some clean as well, which is exactly what we want to see. However, Liam Bowman has dropped down the order massively. I wonder if he got tagged somewhere, because there is a little bit of gaps in the train that weren't there this time last lap. Mubarak then trying to find a way back past Aurelian into turn 1 and 2, but not happening. Maybe the softs just starting to wear a little bit right now. It's 1.8 seconds between Sammy Shemsi and Kai Pearson, and that gap is going down, and Sammy actually is pulling away from Aurelian. This is, I say that, and they get really close into turn 5 there, but Sammy Shemsi on those hard compounded tyres is doing a fantastic job right now. He's really, well, controlling his side of the race.
Yeah, because Zizzle's had a moment, I think, coming out of turn 3 and 4. He's got front wing damage, right-hand side end plate. Stefano is all over him, and this is causing some havoc from 11th through to 17th at this stage. So this could get slightly chaotic in the midfields, because Zizzle, you can tell when a driver's hit the wall because they start ghosting, and the damage was quite revealing. Stefano's into the wall as well, and he's tapped the back of Kazizzle as he struggled to get the car slowed down. So many drivers just having a nightmare with braking at the moment, and it is, like I said, one of those difficult low grip circuits. Benz has just lost 2 positions for the race lead. Joe Murphy, Mubarak goes down the inside of Aurelian. He's committed. He's wide of the apex though. I think maybe could have made that a little bit tighter, but again struggling under braking, these drivers.
Yeah, and I think it was Murphy was more. It was more of an attack from Murphy, and I think he just had to defend from that. But there, down 2 positions, there is Mubarak, and he's trying to fight his way back and attack Volokongan, but it's not happening. And look, there's Enzo trying to pick up the pieces, but I don't think he can. He's tried to stick his nose up there, but these soft runners are starting to feel the pain a little bit. But saying that, Sammy Shemsi is still unable to catch the top runners at that point. But there's Enzo dispatching the sister Red Bull. Let's go back to the leaders as we see now Kai Pearson in 2nd place.
Yeah, Kai Pearson in second indeed. I'm just checking the Discord because we had a Macho onboard POV and Quantum was trying to overtake a Williams. I think it was Marlon that hit the wall and hence went into the pit lane for damage. The Alpine of Quantum came across trying to avoid Marlon, and unfortunately Macho was just a passenger. So unfortunate to see him out of the race so soon. But that is what happened with that incident. I think just a racing incident, I believe. I don't think there's any reason to go on and report that. But for the 6th time, we're already down the Las Vegas Strip. And Kai Pearson, I think, has no choice but to go for the lead here. But he goes for the smallest gap possible. It's the inside line. It's P1 for Kai Pearson. How many times have we said that in the past? Aurelian's ahead of Sami Shemsi. Volokongan on Joe Murphy. Some more moves there being made, including Gabor on Axe F1. Axe F1, touch wood, has not yet had a game crash like he has done in the first 3 rounds.
Hope it stays that way. Love to see Axe finish this one. But look at Louis Valentine trying to attack back at Kai Pearson, but not happening at the moment. Benza seems like he's just dropped back a little bit and not on the attack. And as I said that, he's right back with it as Kai Pearson tries to pull away in this first sector, just to get, I don't know, some sort of gap and defence to the guys behind, as it looks like Sami Shemsi's trying to make a move back past Aurelian as well. And these hard runners, Sami specifically, is looking very strong, even though he's brought Volokongan and Murphy and, to a degree, Enzo for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Las Vegas known for its attractions, known for its parks, its restaurants, its entertainment. We're certainly getting that at the moment. Aurelian now in that sort of prime position behind the soft runners. And I tell you, the gap is only 1.7 seconds. I think if the soft runners maybe stay out until lap 9, lap 10 maybe, when I forecast them to come into the pit lane, Aurelian will be right on them, might start to be able to pick them off. Sami Shemsi's going to have a massive slingshot here and potentially reduce that gap on behalf of the entire train. Louis Valentine's gone for the lead. Benza's not close enough, I don't think, to Kai Pearson. And Volokongan's coming through as well. Any more lining up? No, just the 2 of them. Aurelian down to 6th. And just like that, Sami Shemsi's taken 2/10 out of the 3rd place man. Enzo
then getting past Murphy as well. It's that slingshot move. Well, it's great down into turn 14. Get a fair few drivers swapping positions, as I think Kai Pearson having a very quick look, but not happening on this occasion into turn 1 and 2. But just shows, I think he's a little bit quicker through turn 1, but Volokongan is trying around the outside then into 3 and 4, and I think he's got the move done on Sami Shemsi. I think Sami Shemsi was sleeping there.
I think he was. Well, they're stopping. They're trying to stop down this back straight. Volokongan, of course, doesn't want DRS. Neither does Sami Shemsi, so he reacted to that. Aurelian's going the long way round. Sami Shemsi on the inside. Oscar Piastri made a great move there on the 2nd safety car restart this year. But in the end, it's the McLaren that gets overtaken there. And did they lose time? I think they lost a couple of tenths in doing that, so I'm not sure why they went for that. I'd just be purely focusing as sort of a team there to try and get in the DRS of the soft runners. But tell you what, Volokongan isn't far off. 1.3 now is the gap. He's closing in rapidly to the back of his Mercedes teammate. The DRS detection zone comes after turn 12, but it's still a gap of 1.3 seconds. Next lap, if the soft runners stay out, they're well within the fight.
Yeah, it seems like absolutely perfect what you said. There goes Louis Valentine. There goes Kai Pearson on Louis Valentine again. Just in the background, Joe Murphy looks like he's trying to get through. Benza getting past Louis Valentine as well. So the softs, it's back to 2 seconds there, Volokongan and Louis Valentine. So it'll be interesting to see how much closer they can get through that 1st and 2nd sector before this long 3rd sector straight. It's very close up at the top though. Let's see what Benza and Kai Pearson are doing.
Oh, Aurelian getting very close, and I'm surprised Aurelian didn't go for the move there on Volokongan down the back straight, because again they need to be overtaking each other to be able to close the gap, because whoever's 2nd, 3rd in this train is always having DRS, and we've got a VSC. I've got to work out whose front wing is missing, and it's a Ferrari of Gilles who's hit the wall coming out of turn number 16. So a very... I'm sorry, I'm going to correct myself because I think the full safety car has just come out onto the circuit. There's a yellow dot on the map. Well, 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 how cheap is this for the soft runners?
Yeah, that is perfect timing for them. And yeah, cheap pit stop. What do you do though if you follow Kongan, Sammy Shemzy, Enzo, and Murphy? How do you do this one?
Medium's fine to come in. Hard, I think you've got to try and go all out and try and finish this race on the mediums, unless you want to stay out, be a sitting duck for a little bit, and then still have to pit. It's very tough. If you can nurture your tyres under the safety car, then yes, I think it is worth everybody pitting in this race here. Some drivers are going to take the hit. Volokonga and Enzo in 7th. Second running drivers. Aurelian as well in the Aston Martin. Liam Bowman stuck right behind his teammate as well. It's probably one of the biggest dilemmas in all of league racing when a safety car comes out. No-brainer for the top 3 to come into the pit lane. Volokongan's following in as well. He's created a little bit of a gap. Aurelian backing right up this contact on the pit entrance. Sammy Shemzy crossed over the white line to get ahead. And, well, that is one of those things that is often reported to the stewards.
Yeah, and Enzo then is going to be held up a little bit there. He's not going to be too happy being held up. It looks like Axe F1. Oh, sorry, no, that's him coming into the pits. It's a set of mediums for him. His teammate Liam Bowman, obviously third in the championship, being held up there, though. Crucially, Mubarak has got through, but how far down? Mubarak is about behind Aurelian, so that's interesting to say the least. But everyone's risked a set of medium at this point.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough, because the hard runners could only ever go to the mediums, so the soft runners, 1, 2 and 3, they were running, they still are in those positions, had to respond, they had to go to the mediums, they have to do exactly the same strategy and get to the end of this race. But it does bring in Volokongan, it does bring in Sammy, Joe Murphy, that were struggling to get hold of the train. It's a free pass, it's a free ticket, everyone is pretty much on the same strategy now until the end of the race. But yeah, it sort of unfortunately got rid of any strategic battle that we had, but I think there's sort of a collective relief about the timing of it, just so that everybody still has a fighting chance.
I'm looking at the... you wonder if Aurelian just can keep up. I'm guessing till lap 20. It's surely going to go into his way. Yeah. But is that at that point? Is it too little, too late? I'm guessing.
It could be. You know, if he drops positions to Enzo, maybe Mubarak. I don't know how those 2-lap-old hards are going to perform. It'll be very slight, you know, in terms of performance, but it depends on the cars behind him. If he's overtaken early, then it will just make his life so much more difficult, because then he's got a battle to try and get back through, and like you suggested, maybe too little, too late, but I don't know. We'll see.
And I suppose it will depend when the safety car comes in, because if the safety car comes in lap 12, it will only... Yeah, the mediums will still be... They'll just be coming towards maybe time for them to be thinking, oh, I've got to look after the tyres a little bit. I think that's kind of a good moment for everyone, really. But unfortunately for some of those drivers, they didn't have the option to go on to a set of mediums, and that's the driver, the one driver at the top, which was Aurelian, who had a set of mediums on.
Yeah, he did indeed. You know, he'll be one of the drivers that will be sort of regretting that, because he had the most flexibility, I think, after the, after the start of the race tyre call. But like I said, at least it's a safety car rather than him in a bad position himself in terms of a crash or whatnot. It still could be chaos in front of him. We've seen Kai, Benz and Louis come very close, though measured so far this race. Volokongan, Sammy Shemzy, Joe Murphy, Aurelian all playing those DRS games, and that's not even down the strip. That was only in towards turn 5, so again, lots to play for.
Well, we've had a VSC, we've had a full safety car, and we've got one big LED ball on the circuit. So, I mean, I had to get that in at some point. But I mean, it means we could get another safety. Not the ball won't mean we have another safety car unless it somehow goes across the track. But there's an option. I say an opportunity. There's a possibility of another safety car here, whether it be a full or a VSC, which could still change up the dynamics of this race. So I don't think it's just over yet for strategy, especially not at the Las Vegas circuit. But we're probably going to get one more lap under the safety car from experience with safety cars on F1 games in general. The safety car likes to stay out a bit extra, and I'm wrong. We're going back underway very, very quickly under this one. How do you think this is going to rework itself then, Joseph?
I mean, it's sort of like another race start, this. Everybody back sort of to square one, trying to just dial in their momentum once again, because it's going to feel like a little bit of an unknown. Fresh tyres, lots of grip to play with, but just how are the drivers going to feel confidence-wise? And Kai Pearson is going to get us underway. Back to green flag racing in just a moment, holding onto the brakes and guns it, coming out of the 17th and final corner. We've got 14 laps remaining, but who dares make a move into turn one? Enzo Mubarak, oh, front wings flying. Lots of chaos there going into the first corner. It was Torres going to be tricky with a lack of grip. There's more contact, and Gabor has gone off the circuit there in the background. He's down to 16th, but hopefully away without damage.
Yeah, I was looking at... excuse me. I was looking at Sami Shemzi as he was coming into turn one, and he's trying to make a move on Volakongan, but Aurelian is dropping. He's been passed by Mubarak, but I definitely saw a front wing go flying, and I think that is possibly Enzo's. I'm not 100% sure, but the lack of grip definitely not helping, as we just see Stefano and Kazizel going hammer and tong through sector 2 here and into turn 9, or the exit of turn 9, and Kazizel holds position, but Stefano is definitely trying to get back through, back past there, any which way around, and at the moment it's not going to happen. So go back to the leaders, a little less chaotic at the front.
It is a little less chaotic. Quantum on Mubarak, that's without DRS, so good move there for Quantum, who was involved in that earlier incident, as I say, with Macho. Not his fault, in my opinion, as I said, but up to 7th now. He was making moves in Bahrain, wasn't he? Not quite hit the same height since in terms of the championship at the moment. But he's back on the rise now, clearing both hard runners, giving himself a buffer to the 10th place Axe at the moment, who, as it stands, would score points for only the first time this season. Sounds strange to say for a driver of his caliber, but it can all start to shape nicely for him now. Axe F1 as well. Quantum's 3rd in the championship, hasn't scored 13th, sorry, hasn't scored a point since back in Bahrain, where he finished 6th.
And there is Enzo into the pits, a set of hards for him. His race, unfortunately, it feels like a little bit done. In the background there, Stefano and Furious going at... is it Furious, sorry? Yeah, it was Furious going at it, which is a very, very interesting battle, to say the least. I think Liam Bowman holding up as well. There is a little gap between Liam Bowman and Axe F1 for the time being. It really isn't a pad track, is this one? So it's going to be a struggle for him. Back to... I was looking at Mubarak because he's all over the back of Quantum. I say he was all over the back of Quantum, but he's just keeping that gap safe. But Quantum is under a little bit of pressure to keep up with Murphy.
Yeah, it's a little bit. 7/10 now, the gap. Still no DRS just yet. That won't be until the next lap, the 3rd lap, after the safety car comes into the pit lane. But it's a very nice train at the moment, you have to say. The only exception to it, Liam Bowman at the moment. PR Furious is burning his battery. Liam Bowman completely out of electrical deployment. Furious the long way round, and Bowman's collided with him. The BRT and NVR drivers come together. They so often have done in Xbox tournaments. But here tonight in Las Vegas in WOR Tier 1, it seems to have happened again. Liam Bowman comes into the pit lane, aborts off the racing line. Could this be an end to his race? Could he have damage following the contact? No, it's just a retirement.
There was front wing damage to that Aston Martin Alfa Romeo, so that is his race done. Such a shame for him, but let's go back up to the leaders. It's a really, really interesting race right now. Kai Pearson holding off OP Benza with Louis Valentine in 3rd place, but Shizu Volokongan in 4th place. He has had an absolute stormer of a race so far. It's been quite an impressive drive.
He has indeed. There have been so many good drives, actually. Some consistent ones throughout the field. Kai Pearson up 2 places. Benzer and Louis Valentin down 1, but that doesn't reflect the patience that these guys are having to endure at the moment. Much like Monaco, I think, where some drivers got too impatient. I said to you before the stream, and that's where we started to see incidents and the argy-bargy. They've been good so far. Hopefully that won't come back to bite me, but Benzer's going for the lead. Benzer, who's brilliant in Las Vegas, retakes the lead of this one on lap 14. Still got a long way to go in this one. It's a long circuit, isn't it? 6.2 kilometers, the second longest on the Formula 1 calendar, and it is serving up an absolute storm tonight.
It has been a very action-packed, entertaining race that we've had so far. A little bit of strategic element early on. Now it's just a straight shootout until lap 25, until the end of lap 25, as now Stefano is the fastest man on the track as the Ferrari man. But we are staying on board with the leaders because Volokongan is trying to find a way past Louis Valentin. Louis Valentin, since the start of this race, hasn't really had the same pizzazz as Benzer or Kai Pearson. He's just been happy to sit there.
He has just been happy to sit there because that's part of it at Las Vegas. Unfortunately, it makes for a little bit of boring viewing, but I promise everyone this is going to come good at the end because whoever's leading, yeah, they don't want to. Kai Pearson's just made a big mistake, actually, coming through turn number 9 onwards to 10 and 11, where Lando Norris bottomed out, had his big crash here under that bridge there, straight ahead. Has Kai Pearson lost DRS? I don't think it'll be too significant if he has. The gap 1 second on the dot. No DRS available for Kai, but he's back within a second. Louis Valentin has DRS anyway. But we're just starting to see now, even with Kai Pearson, surprisingly, a mistake kick in.
Yeah, and someone you don't really expect a mistake from, Kai Pearson. He's been, I don't want to say faultless through this season, and last season, but he's someone that you don't often see a mistake from, and now he's going to be under pressure from Volokongan and under pressure a little bit to get past the OP driver, Louis Valentin.
Yeah, he is indeed. That's just one less position that he wants to lose, I think, at this stage. I think he either wants to be first or second. But third does prove a little bit of a challenge. Volokongan has been very good, by the way. He did smartly open up that gap under the safety car to his teammate Benzer for tonight. And he managed to stay fourth, which was crucial in being able now to attack the 3 out in front. Louis Valentin, big chicane coming up for him now as they work their way through turn 7, turn 8, this right-hander, and then an ever-tightening turn 9, this exit, then on to turn 12 after 10 and 11, where he needs to get back within DRS because that's the second time that Benzer's just been outside of a second.
It looks like Benzer's pushing at this section. He knows the guys behind are really squabbling, I guess is the best way to describe it. And he's really trying to get him up there at the moment. And let's see how it pans down as they head through turns 13 and down the Las Vegas Strip. And it's looking better than it was last time for these drivers, but they're still a little bit far off as Volokongan trying to find a way past Kai Pearson. Very opportunistic if that was the case, but it's not happening on this occasion. And the meat in the sandwich of the Mercedes is Louis Valentin and Kai Pearson. And you do wonder if Benzer is seeing that and trying to play a little bit of a team game and hold them up a little bit. I know they're not teammates and it's more of a solo drive here at Tier 1 console WOR, but he could do that just to maybe help his own race.
Yeah, I mean, I've not checked the lineup for Tuesday, but whatever it is, this is valuable knowledge for what they're about to go through in the Legacy Division season finale. I'm actually going to try and have a look now to see if they've submitted it for the 15th and final round in Las Vegas. It's Benzer and Louis Valentin. Oh, would you look at that? The 1-2 pairing at the moment. It is Benzer and Louis. So it's such good practice at this stage. And I don't think they're likely to trip over each other, but they will do everything, I think, to keep Kai Pearson at bay. They'd both, if they'd win, become the fourth different winner, following on from our fourth different pole sitter of the season.
This is... I'm trying to think of the best way. It is intense stuff. It's not your average edge of your seat, but it's something that you're invested in. And we get another safety, yellow flag in sector 2, and that could very well be Marilon and Kazizel having a little coming together in the background. But Volokongan is not by any means letting this one lie. He is trying to find a way past Kai Pearson, and this is the, I suppose, the unknown. We don't know how far he's going to go through this.
No, we don't. I mean, Volokongan's waiting so patiently, isn't he, behind, just to see what unfolds. Kai Pearson, now of neutral affiliation to console, will say that he was in the Veloce Academy, did leave when he went over to PC, now races for Vroom, predominantly for the PSGO E-Series. So he's just sort of the mediator at the moment between Outplayed Racing, Shazoo, and of course Veloce Academy and all the different teams in behind. It's not the team race, but like I said, like I have been saying, it does bode quite well for the season finale on Tuesday, which is worth watching for the WOR Legacy Division. It does also play into how the drivers approach the race. Benza and Louis Valentin communicating, there's no doubt about it. Kai Pearson potentially independent with a race engineer. I'm not quite sure who that is tonight, but either way, you know, there's such a different element of approach here between the different camps.
And I mean, Sami Shemzi is an unknown in this. Obviously, he's now on but the original strategy, it looked good for him. So that's something else that maybe the OP guys are looking about. But here he is. Speaking of Sami Shemzi, he's going to be trying to find a way past Kai Pearson like Volokongan is as they head down the strip into turn 14. Volokongan just can't find a way past that Red Bull. That Red Bull that's been so difficult to overtake in the past is proving to be just as annoying tonight.
He is indeed. Here he comes, though. Sami Shemzi's on the inside as well. Might well make this 3 wide into the first corner. Volokongan the long way round on Kai Pearson. What a massive move this is, not only for the championship standings, but for Volokongan's race-winning credentials. There's contact in behind. Kazizel's retired in the pit lane, completely unrelated at this stage. Now Joe Murphy is attacking Sami Shemzi. It'll be the long way round into turn 5, but Sami Shemzi does hold on there as well. A massive scare for Kai Pearson. Good car control following the contact. Yeah,
and for a massive scare for Sami as well, because that could have been crucial for both drivers. Imagine both of them coming out of this Grand Prix. And where is Liam Bowman in all? Liam Bowman's out, isn't it? So it would have been absolutely wide open for the championship. But at the moment, Kai Pearson and Sami Shemzi are holding station at 4th and 5th at this present moment in time. But that was a crucial point in this race.
Absolutely. Still over 6 laps to run in this one. Mercedes 1-3, but realistically here, Benza's teammate is Louis. I don't think there's any sort of Mercedes game going on here. WOR's constructors standings haven't been relevant since I don't know when. I want to say 2019, 2018, the last time I ever checked in on a WOR constructor standings. That's not what they're playing for. It's about themselves, but also for OP. It's about the value they'll take from this race. Here they go then, with 6 laps to go now officially as they cross the line, half a second between Louis and Benza. But I have to say, Volokongan is looking so quick and potentially could still win this one.
I'm going to throw my hat in the ring and say, do not count him out, because he is just looking like he wants it more than anyone else. Getting past Kai Pearson around the outside of turn 1 and 2, I mean, I don't want to say it's unheard of, but Kai Pearson is not an easy driver to get past. None of these guys are, but Kai is one of the hardest, and Volokongan managed to do it around the outside, and I mean, I think he wants this. I would quite happily put my hat in the ring to say he's going to win this race tonight with 5 laps remaining.
I'd love it. No reason why at all. I had to take the Shizou out of my Discord name tonight so we could get onto the right side of the screen. So therefore, I remain completely neutral for the remaining 5 laps of this race. But that aside, you know, whoever in the top 3 wins it, it is still history being made. It is still the lack of consistency that I was on about with regards to race wins this season. Sammy Shemsi still in another top 5 position. That would be great for him. So, I mean, it's still hard to tell who leaves this race as the championship leaders. Sammy Shemsi on Kai Pearson, if that happens as well, would be a huge move. I think just as importantly is the race win at this stage. So P4, P1, P7, there's still so much to play for, lap by lap.
I think Louis Valentine may have heard a little bit of what was being said by us two there, because he's got a little bit of a move on, but then he's made a mistake at the exit of turn 2, and he's lost an awful lot of ground to Benza through that bit, and it's just allowing Volokongan maybe just that little bit, you know, when you dangle a carrot in front of a donkey or something, that little bit of hope to get him moving. And maybe there's no way at all I'm calling Volokongan a donkey, but up the inside is Kai Pearson, and he's going for it. Kai is now starting to maybe just get a little bit frustrated and wanting this championship lead a little bit more, and that's the clinical edge that I think he needs to show to win this one. But look how close Sammy Shemsi is to possibly getting both of these drivers.
Oh my word, he's going to go up the inside here of Volokongan! Oh! Oh my words, Sammy Shemsi spins at turn 12. I think he's only got himself to blame. He was on the inside. He was just sort of going straight on and just sort of crossed over there and hit Volokongan's side pods. I mean, I can't see who else to attribute that to. Louis Valentine's got the lead. Volokongan is going for the third. He was alongside Kai Pearson but didn't commit. But a big moment in the championship again.
And Louis Valentine being leader, I think this surely is going to close him up to, well, obviously because he's ahead of Kai Pearson, he's going to gain ground. But I think it's going to get him past, obviously, Liam Bowman and now Sammy Shemsi, because Sammy Shemsi so far down. Shizou Kazizel's left the session. But Kai Pearson needs to show a little bit more of that, I don't want to say aggression, but that mentality of I need to make this move, but also in the safest way. But wow, what a lap we've just seen, and what a lap for the championship.
Tell you what, it's not the first time Sammy Shemsi's done that in Las Vegas. He hit Aurelian on lap 3 of the PSGL race, ended up finishing 16th. He has cost himself a lot of points, I think it's fair to say, around this circuit. I think both incidents were his fault. So, unfortunately for Sammy Shemsi, I don't think he ever wants to race here again, because this has been an absolute bogey track based on the twice contact he's now had. 3 laps to go when we cross the line. Louis Valentine did take the lead. Benza might fancy it back, as they now know it's Kai Pearson behind, who already made a stunning move on Volokongan. I was on board with Volokongan when Kai just appeared down the inside. Phenomenal.
Now, I can't remember, but I just want to reiterate that there is no way I meant that Volokongan was a donkey with the carrot expression I was trying. I don't know why I was going down that route anyway, but I just wanted to reiterate that one. Benza then retaking the lead of this Grand Prix into turn 14, and Kai Pearson now. It seems like a little bit of strange feeling of deja vu. Kai Pearson trying to find a way past these two OP drivers.
Joe Murphy sitting 5th as well. Aurelian, we were talking about him on the hards. That's a second gap now. It's the sort of thing I was on about. If he's not there going really into the last 2 laps, within a second, he's just starting to close in now and might be able to do something with the hards. Oh no, Axe F1. That's horrible to see. He will continue his 4-race pointless streak to start the season, not because of a game crash, because he spun it coming out of turn 2. Such a difficult corner to get right. We've seen some spins on driver's own accord tonight. We've seen trouble just trying to get to grips with a lack of grip around here in Las Vegas. But Axe, unfortunately, now down in 15th. To the front of the field, I was mentioning Aurelian, 7/10 now is the gap. The top 8 within a train. Everyone's going to want a piece of the action in the final 2 laps.
Yeah, it's definitely the final countdown theme is probably ringing in some of these drivers' ears. It's not long to go, and we still don't know who is going to win this Grand Prix. Benza is there or thereabouts at the moment. Kai Pearson just agonisingly close, but here comes Louis Valentine. Is he going to make a move on his OP teammate? He decides against it, maybe waiting for the last lap. But how long can you wait with Kai Pearson waiting in the wings as well? And just seeing who else could possibly... you know what, Aurelian's in with a shout there to get some more points. But looking in the chat, Louis might be second in the championship at this point. But saying that, Sami Shemzi might be able to get some points back from this as well. He's only in 12th place. Points is still possible for him.
Yeah, if Louis Valentine wins this race, he'll go on to 44 points. He'd overtake a pointless Sami Shemzi. He'd overtake a pointless Liam Bowman. Sami's still fighting his way back into the points, but Sami would still need 6th in the event. 6 points in the event of Louis winning this race. So, again, it's looking quite favourable for Louis Valentine, announcing himself into the championship fight, but Kai will extend that advantage, sitting 3rd at the moment, and if he overtakes Louis Valentine, even more so. So much significance lying on the final 1.5 laps of racing. Long first sector, 46 seconds clocked in there for some of these drivers, and then it's the short yet long dash distance-wise down the Las Vegas Strip. And Kai Pearson, close he is now. I think that just got a gasp from you there. Here comes the attack.
It looked very close to hitting the wall at the entry of turn 12. But thankfully no damage for him as they come down into turn 14 for the 24th and penultimate time. But will Louis Valentine go for the lead of the race? He backs out of it. Oh my goodness, this is all so close, and we don't know who's going to win it. Benza's doing a great job at this moment in time, but I don't think we've seen Louis Valentine really go in anger at Benza to take the lead of this Grand Prix for the last few laps. But the final lap is upon us, and Kai Pearson and Volokongan are going at it again. And Volokongan, he did it around the outside before. He's going to try it again, but it's not happened this time of asking. Volokongan's still in this race.
He is still in this race, and he wants the podium position. I think it'll be his first in WOR, had a few in PSGL, but for a league he's reserving in tonight. Boy, does he want that as well. Yellow flag in Sector 1. Oh, that's not Quantum, is it? Oh, he's had a big mistake coming out of Turn 5. He was in this top 6 train. He's now dropped 5.5 behind. Hasn't lost a position, but Mubarak will surely get him.
And he's got front wing damage. That is crucial with all the other drivers coming behind him as well. But I can't. I have to go up to the leaders to count this one out. Into turn 12 they go for the final time. Down through into the main strip. Down into turn 13. That little kink. We've got Benza leading this one. Louis Valentine in second and Kai Pearson in third, with Volokongan appearing to be dropped a little bit by these two. Are we going to see a change in the lead? Here comes Louis Valentine into first place. Kai Pearson's desperate for it. He's gone into second place. Kai Pearson wanted it more than OP Benza. And that surely... Oh no, it's a big slide from Kai Pearson, but it doesn't matter. I think he's managing to hold on. I don't think we're going to see heroics like we did with Leclerc and Perez. But we do see Louis Valentine take the victory here, and wow, what an interesting first Las Vegas victory.
Absolutely. Louis Valentine, second in Monaco, first on the streets of Las Vegas. He is somewhat of a specialist in street circuits, and as Mr. Luke Humphries is saying in the live chat, becomes the 4th different winner in the first 4 races this season. I think that is his very first altogether in WOR in Tier 1. He's had Legacy Division wins, of course. That might be his first in Tier 1, unless I'm getting the two confused, in which case it would be the 96th different Tier 1 race winner across all the platforms we've ever raced on.
This is great to see. So many different drivers coming through and strong times and beating a very, very dogged Kai Pearson tonight. He was definitely going for it, but Volokongan we feel sorry for, because he has definitely given us a lot to talk about, and that overtake around the outside of Kai Pearson was very, very good indeed. Wow. I think there was Quantum. I think maybe had an issue with Mobarak at that turn where you said he made a mistake. Was it turn 5? I think, and we get a floating Aston Martin driver there. That was a very interesting. Joseph, a very, very interesting Las Vegas Grand Prix. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. Didn't know what I was going to get into when it first happened, but I think it was a well-deserved victory for Louis Valentine in the end. I'll quickly go through the order one last time. It was Louis Valentine, Kai Pearson, Opie Benza in third. That's your podium sitters. Volokongan very close to a first podium in WR Tier 1. In fifth place, we've got Murphy, Aurelian in sixth, seventh to Quantum, eighth to Mobarak, Stefano in ninth, 10th to Furious, rounding out the points. There's no points for Gabba, Guli, Sammy Shemzi, Rick, Axe, or Marilon, or Enzo. We lost Shizuka Zizzle, Liam Bowman, and Macho within the race. Macho at very early doors, unfortunately for him. But I say a relatively interesting race. A very good race there, wasn't it?
It was indeed, and how significant for the championship. Louis Valentine moved second out of all of that. 44 points, I believe it is. Kai Pearson with 18 points onto 58. So it's a 14-point lead for Kai Pearson. And if you offered him that after Monaco, he would have sure taken it. DNFs for Bowman. A clumsy crash for Shemsi. Get my words out in the end. Yeah, big race tonight.
Something that we've not even had a chance to say, but driver of the day for today. There's a few candidates, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. It's quite hard to choose. I mean, Benza's qualifying. The driver of qualifying might be a bit of a stretch, but, you know, I think he had to sacrifice something there on the final lap, being the leader. I think he was brilliant. Even finishing third doesn't represent effort, you know, the qualifying, the strategic resilience, even after the safety car. I think it's him for me.
Yeah, I mean, Volokongan definitely gave us a good showing as well. Definitely close up there again. Seems like it's so close, but yet so far for him. But to me, it's Louis. Louis driven a great race. Benza, well, those top four were absolutely fantastic. But yeah, Louis Valentine definitely waited till the last moment, played the smart game, taken his first victory, and now proclaiming himself as a title contender. He definitely is.
He is. He's a full-time driver as well, so no worry about the reserve element of things. He put on a show in PSGL, I have to tell you. Unfortunately, finished fourth because there was a rain gamble to it. But that's twice he's performed at Las Vegas. It was a similar sort of story, transferring from Monaco and whatnot. So there are going to be some favourable tracks for him where he knows his stuff, where he can just click wherever this season takes him. He's there. He's fighting.
Just quickly on Kai as well, finished second, extending his championship lead a little bit. And like you mentioned, he would have snapped anyone's hand off with how last week went with a 14-point gap. But maybe not at his true best tonight. But sometimes that's how champions are made, when you're not at the true best, but you still manage to come home with a second place.
Yeah, and considering the adaptation he made from PC Tier 1, the difficult race, the DNF on the final lap, come back into console, plug it in, practice for half an hour and play. The guy's never going to be at his best coming back to console week in, week out. So, you know, fair play to him for what he's continuing to do. Mega result as well to finish second. Beautiful move on Voller.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit out of nowhere, caught Volokongan napping, really. But and sometimes that is also what makes champions is just those singular moments. All it takes is one moment. He's still with a great shout. We are going to just hang around, just see if there is any interviews, anyone wanting an interview. But we'll wait and see for that one. I mean, the safety car, I saw in the chat there was a little bit of I don't want to say negativity around it, because it nullified the strategic element to it. But it was probably best at that point, wasn't it? You know, we could have had it much worse.
It could have been. I mean, it was for front wing, and the big crash we had on lap 1 wasn't. There's always a consistency argument to the safety car, but in the end, I think it did well for the race. And I have to say, I think everybody played that really well. You know, everyone on the same strategy. Everyone had to make moves, but there wasn't desperation. There wasn't nonsense from the drivers tonight. I think penalty-wise, this is going to be quite a reduced one compared to last week, and yeah, I think it sort of helped the race in the end.
So it doesn't appear we're going to get anyone, so which is a shame, but I can understand certain things through that as well. Though I do, you're trying something. It does look like you're trying something in the chat, so I'm not sure if that'll go through or not. But any other moments for you that really highlighted in that race why these guys are in console tier 1, really?
Yeah, I think Las Vegas, Monaco, these 2 races, they were wild cards for the season. Luke loves his wild cards. The league loves its wild cards. Always has done. And they're out of the way now. So I have to say, over the course of tonight, well played. Because there was some... I think the moment for me was Kai's move on Voller. I didn't expect it one bit to come off while I was on board with Voller. And it was just sort of that Verstappen-esque aggression that we sort of saw on Russell, and Russell had to pay the price in the end, taking the penalty at fault for that one. It was very similar. So I like how the 2 races have sort of corresponded.
Yeah, definitely. And I think maybe Kai was just saying, whatever you can do, I can do better, because Voller definitely had that great overtake around the outside on Kai, but I think Kai got the last laugh. But for that, I think that is us done. We have got another race, and we're staying in America next time. We're in the Circuit of the Americas. Please join us for that one, because if tonight is anything to go by, next week is going to be even better. Thank you for joining. Joseph, thank you again for incredible comms, as always. But for now, from us, thank you so much. Goodbye.